Hello, I'm Bentham, and today we're playing Factorio, and what I'm going to do for you today is show you the new update, because the version that we are now in is not 0.10.0, or not 0.10, if you want to call it that. It's basically the same thing, it's 10, because previously we were on 9. So, this update has been not quite the same as some of the previous ones. There's been no big sets of features introduced. We haven't had like something like oil come in or trains or anything like that. This has been more about sort of under the hood work, improving things that don't affect the gameplay but just add more polish and make playing a nicer experience. So let's get into it. So first we're going to look at the new visuals. They've improved the thumbnail images of a lot of different items. So what I'll just walk you through them. So if we go down here, I've got some assemblers set up with each of them to give you a nice good view of them. So here we have all the new inserters. So we've got the burner inserter, we've got the standard inserter, the long-armed inserter, the fast inserter, and the smart inserter. So they've all been improved nicely. They look quite interesting. Though the in-game images of them haven't changed, I don't believe, apart from I believe they have shadows now where they didn't before, and a couple of changes have been made to exactly how they function, but nothing major. They're going to operate just as you normally expect them to. So next we'll go into the circuits. Here we have electronic circuits, we have advanced circuits, and we have processing units. And while we're here, an interesting thing I noticed while I was setting this up is that the assembler has changed slightly in terms of the processing units, because previously when you were setting up an assembler that would produce anything involving liquids, you would have an input and an output pipe appear, regardless of whether there would be any outputting or not. In fact, I don't think there are any recipes in assemblers that result in liquids coming out, so they've changed it now so that it is only an input pipe, because that's all you need to make the processing units. So what we also have is new ammo. So the standard ammo has been improved. It looks a lot cooler now, a lot more like a proper magazine sort of thing. And then we also have the armor-piercing rounds, which are red because red is better. And then what we also have is change to copper. So that's been turned into plates rather than the weird sort of bar things that we had before. So it matches a lot more to the iron plates. It looks a lot similar. And then here we have steel, which has just sort of been turned on its side and had just been improved a bit. So that's all of the items that have been changed. So what I'll now show you is the actual the buildings that have been changed, the machines. So we'll go over here and you can see we have the new steam engine. Now this one isn't running, but I will show you one that's running later on. You can see it's had more detail added to it. It matches more with the pipe works and things that have been that were put in the previous update to do with oil, and that seems to be like a lot of the changes that are happening to objects are bringing them in line with the other systems and making them look more like this, sort of with a bit of rust around the edges and things like that, and just looking pretty cool. And then if we wander over here, you can see we have the new radar, which is quite nice. So that's you can see it's a lot more detailed, and because they weren't happy with the previous model, it was a pretty basic one really, and this looks quite cool. Also, you can probably hear the sound that it's making, which is quite nice. And also, if you look while I've moused over this, it has a name. It's called Radar Danny Beadle, this particular one. Of course, all the names are backers who paid extra to have the names put into the game. And I believe the steam engines don't have them, but the radars do, and a couple of other things, like labs do, but they did before, as did train stations. But I believe trains now also have them, and let's see, roboports I believe as well. So that's a new feature that's been added in. But anyway, that's all of the visuals pretty much. So now we'll move on to sounds. So a lot of new sounds have been added in this update, and that's definitely one of the cooler features that's been added in this particular one, because it's really changed a lot about what you hear when you're going through a factory that used to be really quiet, and now with the new update suddenly there's noises everywhere. So I'm gonna show you a couple of little noises, and later on I'll take a tour through my base with my microphone off so you can get a good listen to all the cool new sounds that you get. So we'll just wander over here, and you can see here we've got some conveyor belts. You can hear those. Well, hopefully you can anyway. I don't know how. Oh, bit of lag. As it happens. Yeah, I'm doing this on one of my, like, this is a 50-hour in-game here, so there's a lot of lag going on because of all the activity. Though I have heard that the lag with autosaving might have been improved a bit, so it's not quite so bad. But anyway, let's move on. So here we have an inserter. Oh. We get a bit of lag just at the wrong time there. But yeah, you can hear it, can't you? There we go. And then here we have a furnace. I believe if I go into the menu for this, you can hear it louder. Yeah, there you go. So there's the furnace, and then over here we have a very loud item, which is the accumulator. At the moment, it's not actually making any noise, but later on I'll walk by some when they are on. The things are really loud and sound like accumulators, I suppose, is a good description for them. Also, another little sound that we can do is if I grab this here. Well, actually, no, there's always been a sound for placing it, hasn't there? But this is going back to visuals. If you watch, when I place this, it will there will be a puff of smoke as it drops. There you go, looks pretty cool. Oh, did I hear a whirring there? Is that the... I don't know. Is that this here? All sorts of things that make noises. You can't even track some of the noises down. I'll do that again in case you didn't see. There you go, nice puff of smoke as you place it down. So I'll show you more of the sounds later, because obviously there is a ton more than the things I've shown you here. These are just a couple that I could easily get together to show you. So we'll move on to the next section of the video. Another new little feature is an improvement to burner inserters, because the problem that you had before was that you could never make a coal-powered system that would just run forever. You always had to refill at least the inserters, because they needed coal to fuel them, and you couldn't have an inserter inserting into the inserter because the new inserter wouldn't work either. So what they've done to fix this is they've made a little change. So you can see we've got an inserter here, and what I'll do is I'll stick a single piece of coal in it. So it now has some fuel, but of course it doesn't have very much. And what I'm going to do now, while all these little drones fly along and give me random crap and make noises, I'm going to stick this on, so now the coal will flow down. You can see the inserter picks it up, but then it puts it into itself rather than into the chest, and then the rest it will put into the chest. So you can see that's an interesting change that they made, and it means that you can now have coal-powered systems that will run themselves rather than having to switch to electric power in order to make things work. Of course, I don't know why you wouldn't switch to electric power, because it's kind of really important for everything. But yeah, whatever. It can work in some cases. So anyway, now I'm going to wander over here in slow motion because of all the horrible lag. I'm going to have to do something about that later. And here we have a train which I'm going to hijack. So if I just hop in here, the trains have new sound, so if, you can take a listen. So that's quite nice, isn't it? Nice chugging sound. And then there's also an effect when you slow down, so if you watch the train as we stop. There we go. Lovely little puff of steam as you stop, which is really quite nice. So I suppose we'll make our way back home now. Next I'm going to show you the car. I don't know if I have one handy. I know there are some on the other side of my base. I'll just make one, I suppose. We'll just bring this train into the station carefully. Nice and gentle. Driving trains is always a scary prospect. Oop, yeah, we overshot. Of course we did. We'll stop here. It's fine. Nice little smoke effect again there. Another feature while we're here is that you can now set filters on cargo wagons, so you can have multiple resources go into them without one filling up the whole thing and not being able to put the other one in, if you so desire. Here come a bunch of drones again. So we'll set up a car now. There we go. Plonk some fuel in it. Hop in. And off we go. All the slag, it's really helpful with the driving. You can see there's a new noise, and also there's now a crashing noise, so you're very aware when you accidentally hit a tree. So we'll just hit some more trees. Nice glass smashing sound with that. We'll drive our way back. I'm sorry about everything being a bit slow. It's just that it's difficult to show you all the features in a file that doesn't have them. We'll bring that nice stopping sound as well there. And then I've got my drones repairing things and delivering equipment to me, as they always do. So we'll go to... excuse me. We'll go to another little feature that... well, this is one that is going to have a fair bit of an effect on your bases that you have at the moment that you'll be moving over into this update. Because if we go here, you'll see the numbers that we have here are not what you're used to. You can see we've got hundreds and 50s and 200s as well. And the reason for that is they've changed the system. They've gone from a base 8 system. I think it would be I suppose it's base 2 if nothing else. But I think everything was always a multiple of 8 in terms of what you could carry, or you could only carry 1 for whatever reason. But they've now changed it to a base 10 system because they think that's a better idea, and it may well be. I think there's certain... they have their reasons. And some of you may find it annoying because it does mean that the stacks are generally smaller than they were before. So that it means that you're going to have to like have more chests for storing the same amount of something and things like that. But it's, you know, it's not going to ruin your gameplay experience. Though there are a few... well, what it means is that the files that you transfer over, it will maintain the stacks that they had before of 128 or 256 or whatever. But once the number goes down, it can't go up again until it's gone below 100. So eventually your base will normalize to having 100 of everything, and that will be how you play now. So you know, that's an interesting change that does have an effect on how you do things, rather than just being more of an aesthetic thing. So now I'm going to try and show you replays, though of course this is the first iteration of this new update, and replays is one of the big things they put in. And the problem with replays is that it's quite a complicated thing to do. They're trying to make it really efficient by having it so that it is a true replay, rather than just showing you, rather than recording everything you do, it's recording your actions. So then when you go on a replay, it's actually replaying the game. It's playing the game in front of you as an exact copy of how you did it. And that's what I believe it is anyway. That's what it seems to be. And so there are some issues with desynchronization, which they're obviously trying to sort. They've got it mostly fixed in a lot of cases, but there's problems with like switching operating system, because different operating systems have slightly different calculations for like for trigonometry and things like that. So there's some trouble there. And I have found when I tried a replay earlier that after a couple, like after 30 seconds, that it desynchronized and stopped. So you know, it's not don't rely on it for like recording playthroughs or things like that. Also, you can't record like I couldn't record this game because this is from a 0.9 file. And you can only get replays of files which have been created in the new update, because there's all sorts of problems with desynchronization there, getting it to work properly. So I'll see about showing you that, just to give you an idea of what it looks like, if nothing else, and then we'll have a look at the last couple of features and finish up. Okay, so here we are out in the menu. I'm about to start a new game, so what I'm going to do is play it for like a minute or two, and then we'll look at the replay of it and see what it's like. So we'll just generate this world. I've got all the settings on normal. You can see there are a couple of extra ones. Maps have seeds now, and there's a map exchange string. I forget what, I think that's for sending your map to other people. Anyway, here's our new world, so we'll wander around for a bit. It looks quite nice. Huge amounts of iron and copper here. That's pretty cool. And also crazy amounts of stone, a bit weird. Have I got the settings on something weird, actually? It looks like I have, because there's really abundant amounts of some of these materials. But anyway, we can just wander around for a bit. And one thing I haven't shown you, there's a couple of new sort of tree things. I think, is this a new tree? I don't recognize it, but they've added a couple of new little bits of little land features. I think there's a lot of new stuff in the desert, so maybe we'll wander over there and show you. But I don't know, things are running slow again, of course. It's interesting that it does that, because this doesn't happen when I'm recording my my main series. At least I haven't noticed it happening, so I'm wondering why it's happening right now, what sort of stuff's going on with it. So here you can see, yeah, this looks new. Grey trunks, things like that, a couple of new features dotted around, just to give more variety to the trees that you encounter and so on. As with a lot of other things in this update, it's just about kind of generally polishing things, making things a little bit nicer, rather than any big new features full of bugs and things like that. And I'm quite happy with what it's been doing so far. Right, so what we will do now is we will leave. We'll quit this game. I suppose we'll save. Oh, it did that. Okay, that was a bit weird. I pressed save and it just went out. But anyway, now we go to play and we go to replay game. So let's see, what do we have here? It's one of the auto saves, I suppose. It's not. Well, that's an interesting... Did I say okay, quit without... Okay, then I'll get back to you on this. Okay, so I messed up a bit there. I think I left without saving, and if I check back in the footage, that's probably exactly what I did. So I started another game and ran around a bit, so now you can watch the replay of that instead. So we'll go into play, we'll go into replay game. You can see here it is, I've called it replay. That's the name of the save rather than anything else, before you get confused. So I'll load it, and so you can see now it's playing, and here I am. I can zoom in and out as much as I want, and while I'm watching myself do stuff. I'm not sure what I can do. Can I? Let's see. Okay, I can't press T to do new research. Oh, that's weird. Now that's an interesting thing. That's a little bug there, I think. I took out the... You can see I'm just running around in circles there, but if let's go back, actually. Can we do that? Whoops. Oh, that's the wrong button. Okay, let's go into it again, because I noticed something interesting there, and I want to point it out to you. Can I speed? I can slow it down and speed it up. That's interesting. So if we speed it up a bit, and then we slow down, let's go at half speed. Look, you see that the item appears on my mouse, rather than on the location that my mouse was actually pointing at. So that's an interesting little bug that they have there. I mean, it has no effect on anything really, but it shows that this is not a recording. This is a proper replaying of it. So in that case, that one worked. In a previous one that I did, it crashed part way in, which were, well, it didn't crash. An error came up saying it was desynchronized, and I think because it was desynchronized, it stopped the replay before anything weird happened. So you know, it's not fully there yet. There is a couple of problems, and it can go wrong at times. But of course, you know, this is 0.10.0. They're going to do some patches to fix things. There's a couple of other problems. For example, shotguns now fire a single bullet rather than a spread of them, due to some changes they did to a trigger mechanic, something like that. I'm not fully versed on all of this stuff. A couple of other things like that. I think languages, there's been a bit of a bug with that, where you can't change the language properly, maybe, in some cases anyway. Of course, there's always going to be bugs with a new update, and you know, maybe you don't want to get this update straight away, and there's no reason to, because I believe it still counts as an experimental update, and of course in a fairly short amount of time, I expect it will become the main version, and once all the bugs have been sorted and things like that. So I think that's pretty much it for stuff that I want to show you. There's of course various other little updates that they've done, and I'll link the changelog in the description so you can go through them yourself if you want to, because I'm sure that there's probably some stuff that you consider important that I've completely missed. And so now I will leave you with some footage of me wandering around my base with all of the new sounds to listen to. Okay, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.